Asmussen said that adventure is a form of bad planning. I don't always agree with this guy. I also like not knowing stuff, going out there and giving it our best. Get in there, people! My parents have always had ships from the beginning of the 1980s and thought it was time for a new adventure in 2006.
We said, okay, there's only actually one ship that we would really love to have with the four of us, and that was the Tecla. And the Tecla is one of those herring drifters that's just maintained in a very beautiful way and very traditional.
And that's how it came about. So the four of us have been exploiting the boat and putting extra miles on it every year since 2006. Tecla'S is an old herring drifter. She's built in 1915 and launched to plunder the North Sea in search of herring, the silver from the sea. It went to Denmark after the war, where they built in a little engine in the late 20s, beginning of the 30s. And they were very proud of the ship because they were very well kept and very well maintained. And so it was possible to convert her to a charter vessel.
As a small kid, I remember Gijs and me standing next to the Tecla, and he was always explaining to me like, oh, if you look over there, that's really special. If you look over there, that's really special. And I probably didn't get half of what he meant, but he knew everything about the Tecla. When I was 23, I didn't think I was going to go sailing. When I was 24, we were in a company together and sailing to Ireland and Scotland.
I suppose I just fell in love with her in the first trip, so that keeps me coming back.
Everybody's from different places and has different levels of experience with sailing, and that's been really enjoyable.
This feels more like a family trip almost than the big trips I've done before.
It feels like a group adventure, not as a holiday where you're just a guest that has a passive role.
I know the people from the moment they send in their booking form, so to say. So I know who to deal with, and the other way around is that the people that choose to come and sail with us also know who they're dealing with, because we are all the face of the ship. The communication with the group, it's just a little bit more intimate. We can eat with everybody there, we don't have to take shifts, and it's always a good point to start a nice conversation during dinner.
You are there with us, out there exploring with us. I am on my woolly socks downstairs, knitting away when we're at anchor, but I'm also out on the shore with you to see the next big hike.
The Tecla is a family member. Definitely it is. That's how they treat her.
I suppose he's just as deep in love with her than with anybody else's girlfriend. I think Luz has to share.
Well, Jet, who's the captain of the boat and the cook, I don't know how she does it because she cooks amazing, and she's also being captain all the time. She's like really an amazing power woman.
There's no space for a cook, so somebody has to cook, and we love food.
I was on other trips where we had chefs. I didn't think the cooking was any better.
So we buy lamb here, for example, in Iceland. We buy some prawns off the fishermen in Scotland, the muskox in Greenland, and we try to use the local market.
And every now and then we eat at 9:30. Yeah, but then it's been a really beautiful day sailing.
I've set out a trip, and this is the guideline. And then what people do with it on the ship itself, it's up to them. I give them the opportunity to do some proper raw sailing with an old boat and teach them these old skills. I like it when we heave anchor in the morning and leave under sail and drop anchor in the afternoon also under sail. And whether that's in Scotland, in Iceland, in Greenland, in Canada, for me that is the perfect day.
It was good to come on something completely different from a little yacht, to come on a classic boat. You know, this isn't sort of pleasant Mediterranean yachting, this is an adventure. And I think they teach you a lot about just getting on with it and getting on with it with other people. There's something really wonderful, I think, about a 3 or a 4 day passage and getting into the rhythm of watches and sleeping and eating and taking a watch and coming across the North Atlantic.
You really need to do it all together, you know, 2 people there, 2 people there, 3 people there, and you have to pull at the same time.
Yeah, I knew it's gonna be like a hands-on holiday.
A lot of these places, of course, depend and have been depending for centuries on the sea, because it was their only link to more populated areas of the world. And they recognize the shape of the ship as an old fishing boat, and this gives an instant connection. For example, the Tecla used to land her catch in Larrick in the Shetlands, and I think I can take our crew into these places just in a little bit of a different way as when they would go there themselves. For example, we invite a storyteller in Orkney, and he really takes us into the culture, into the history, and maybe also into the future of these islands.
And you peck the girls up one by one and munch them down like sweeties.
We find something new every year, I think. You find a new hike, or you find a person who's really going to tell you everything about the place where you are at. The thing I look forward mostly is to show people around and let them know why I love it so much. And as soon as they wake up and sit outside with a cup of coffee in the morning and see the totally still water in Heestrifjordur, people fall in love, and I'm sure of it. And there's hardly any other way.
You're at the end of the world. Generations ago, fishermen used to live there. Now nobody lives there anymore. You go there by boat, and it's the only way to go there actually, because there are no roads, so it's the only way you can get there.
Sailing into the Faroe Islands the first time was pretty special as well. Kind of coming in the night as in the dusk as the light was fading, and just kind of seeing the outline of these amazing islands emerge was pretty special.
We saw heaps of wildlife. That was actually my main reason to get here. We saw polar foxes, whales, seals, birds.
The seas are in trouble, like the whole world's in trouble. I think it's very privileged to be able to come on a boat like this.
And see things that you've never seen before, that you would like to see, but you've never knew they existed.
Yet our skipper, captain, she's like the toughest lady I have met so far.
You can see where she gets it from, because her mother Jeannette is really also just as tough, and they have a really nice and funny relationship. This is really a family adventure. Like, they bought this boat together with also the brother Gijs and the father Jan, who died recently, but he's also been captain on the ship for a long time, and you can really feel how much love went into this project.
With the 4 of us, we were always complimenting each other in, making a whole. You know, everybody's got their own little part, and now we have to look for those parts again a little bit. I do think that with 3 very different people, but very strong-willed people, we know each other bottom to top. Yeah, we might push each other's buttons every now and then, but it's my brother as well, so we can always make up. That's what we do.
There is this fabled passage, the Northwest Passage, around the top of Canada, and it becomes a little bit more navigable every year. They say some years it's not at all navigable, but I've done courses over the winter. We've been looking at ice charts for the last 3 years, how it evolves, and it's different every year. For me, it's a big adventure as well. I think this year we're going to try it.
the only way it's going to work out is if we really trust each other that we're going to do everything we can to make it through this passage.
We use our own strength, our own imagination, our own creativity to move this boat and get this from A to B under sail, because that is what we do.